Welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Hope everybody had a restful Memorial Day. We weren't on yesterday morning. Why do I say we? It's just me by myself. I wasn't on yesterday morning. I was relaxing on my Memorial Day and as much as I could, and it wasn't hot, so that was nice. But get ready. It's going to get hot. Interesting numbers starting to show up in our market. It's just slow and starting to affect a few things. So let's take a look at it. Let's jump right in, shall we? Chandler, you're getting knocked off your perch here. You're starting to have Fountain Hills bark at you. Fountain Hills, their CMI, Cromford Market Index, went up by 20%. Last month they were 150. This month they're 180. Chandler is 209. They used to be 219. Basically anything over 110 is considered a seller's market. And right now, these are it right here. Peoria is at the bottom as a seller's market at 123. Maricopa and Buckeye, you guys are holding up the bottom here where it's a buyer's market. So keep that in mind if you're out there looking for resale properties as a buyer. Those are your two cities where you can find some good negotiations. Renee, good morning. Good to see you here. Now, so what's going on? Why does it look like that? Well, let's look at Chandler. The supply has grown, not by leaps and bounds, but it's got an index of 33. But look at the demand. The demand is down to 69.4. So the two of these give you a balance of 209. It's a proprietary index. I can't tell you how they come up with the numbers, but when you look at that and then you go and you take a look at something like Maricopa, you can see Maricopa, their supply is too much. So it's red. There's a lot of homes down there and the demand is low. But their demand isn't as low as what you just saw in Chandler, right? 79 and Chandler was 69. So the demand in Chandler is starting to pull back a little bit like it is everywhere. Gilbert, their demand is 69. So they're only 1 point ahead. Gold Canyon, theirs is balanced. So Gold Canyon, balance between buyers and sellers out there. Apache Junction, not a whole lot going on out there. Balanced in demand, a little bit short in supply. Phoenix has got low demand. And I've got a chart at the end of this. I'm going to show you inventory. We're going to go back and see not just inventory, but permits, when builders issued permits for single family houses. So Phoenix has got the higher supply than what they normally have, but a market index of 145 and it's slipping. Queen Creek is sitting here at demand, not quite negative, a little bit off of balance. Their supply is not as robust as you've seen in the other markets. And Scottsdale. Good morning, Stephanie. Good to see you. So Scottsdale is sitting here with a supply of 63 in the green, which means there's more supply. And you're seeing that their demand has dropped off a little bit. So I won't take you through all of them. Sun Lakes here is actually balanced demand and very little supply. Green, which means, there's not a lot of listings out there. So their market index 185. Sun Lakes is not doing too bad. Sun City, on the other hand, is just about balanced, but not too bad. A market index of 80. Sun Lakes has a market index of 185. So much easier to sell in Sun Lakes than it is in Sun City. Now, I want to go back and look at active listings. Now, what I haven't been able to wrap my head around is there's a couple different charts within the Cromford report, and one of them shows active listings at 18,000. The other one shows them at 16.5. I don't know why there's a difference, but the trend is still the same. This one's higher, but it lets me go back a few years. The other chart doesn't even let me go and look past 2020. So I look at this one and it does. So here's what I glean out of this. Now, I was asked this morning in a comment, maybe posted it last night, I'm not sure. Why did I remove 2022 when I was looking at supply and saying, this is probably going to start to climb slightly or maybe level off? Well, 2022 spiked up because of a sudden increase in interest rates. So I was trying to look at inventory from a seasonal perspective. In other words, if I take off 2022, you can see that it starts to trend down, except here for 2021, where things were really nuts. There just wasn't supply. It started to come up a little bit. But for the most part, even when you look at pre-pandemic levels, See how it starts to come down seasonally? 2018, even here, it starts to come down a little bit. Now, our market's not by any means normal, but there isn't anything when I was looking at this that says, well, hold on to your hats because here comes a spike in inventory. Now, you go all the way back here to 2006. Look at that, up, 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 away. So they were going like crazy there. So I'm not seeing that. I mean, if you're seeing anything that says that we're going to have a spike in inventory, please let me know. I'm not. I'm looking at it both from seasonality and past year's trends. Now, one of the things that we did see in 2022 is when you get a jolt like that, when rates went from 3.5 to 7.5, all of a sudden, the iBuyers said, we got to dump these houses. Open door, offer pad, boom. They flooded the market, 1,800 homes. And so supply went screaming up. People said, let's get our equity while we can. This is the beginning of the end. Once you remove all that and you start looking at a calmer market where interest rates are staying where they're at, they're not great, but they're not doing this. So once you remove the excesses and the shocks, that's the numbers that you want to look at. Because when I see the numbers I'm looking at today, I'm saying, okay, there isn't any wild news out there today. So what kind of trend can we naturally expect? And what we're seeing is a slow, almost like water dripping on your forehead, deterioration for sellers. In other words, the advantage that you had at the first part of May is not as good now at the end of May and going into June. So, and I've had a few videos going back where I said, hey, look, sellers, if you're thinking about selling, May is probably your last chance to really go out and knock it out of the park. And that's slipping away slowly. You can see here too, and this one's really interesting to me. This is pending listings in Chandler again. But don't you find it odd that it's identical in trends week by week? I mean, we're slightly lower, but when you compare to last year, I mean, we're just mirroring last year every week. It's crazy. It just it went up this week down here, and then it went down, and just it's like we're calling ahead, going, hey, what happened last year? Let's do it again. So that's where you're at with Chandler. Now, if I take a look at some other cities like we did in the past here, and we looked at Buckeye, look at Buckeye. This is their pending listings, right? They're listings that have a contract. So they're at 255. We go to Gilbert. They're way below last year. The 227 here and 139 here. So Gilbert, you're sliding a little bit. So Gold Canyon, you're right there with last year, and so Blue Pool, Case Shiller just released showing 20 cities unadjusted month over month at 1.6. Expected was 1.0. Looks good in my view. Yeah, the thing about Case Shiller, Blue, is their data is really lagging. That's probably, I want to say March or April numbers. Check that out for me, but I'm pretty sure that's what we're looking at. Maricopa, ooh, you're way down here. Is the increase of supply primarily in the outskirts, Buckeye, Queen Creek, Maricopa? So thank you, Stephanie. I like likes on, well, this isn't Monday. Well, let's go take a look at that. We have a question here on active listings, okay? So where are we at with active listings by city supply? And let me find that for you here. Here's active listings. It's not letting me circle it. Find it by city here. So bear with me. I'm going to take a look at that while you guys get another cup of coffee here. Active listings. I want to look by city. Here we go. Excluding under contract. I think I found it here, folks. There's a lot of charts. That's the same doggone one. Well, that's not giving me what I want to see here. Let's see, analysis by city, by topic, inventory, month supply. Nope, that's not what I want. The short answer, Jorge, yes, we're seeing more listings, but we're seeing more listings. And here's the tricky part in those outlying areas. They have more new construction. So if you've got your home that you're trying to sell and you're competing with the builders, your home's just not moving because the builders are offering a lot of incentives and they're offering lower interest rates. So that's why their market index is so much lower. most of the new builds are not included in the multiple listing service. They'll throw up a few spec homes, but they don't throw up all the homes. So it hurts you if you're trying to sell out there. And that's what we're seeing in Maricopa and Buckeye, because that's where all the new builds are. Now, if we look here, check this out. I pulled up this chart here. Month was March, all stats rear view mirror. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with blue with Case Shiller. It's just that it's not very current. And so things can change from March to May. Not much. We're looking at current numbers in May here, but a trend is a trend. So it's not something you want to ignore. But take a look at this. This is single family permits. Okay, look what was going on with housing permits back in 2006. Now, the problem was there were a lot of people buying homes back then. So the builders were very optimistic. Then the wheels fell off the wagon. But look here. Look how many housing permits were issued here. Nothing. From 2007 up to 2014, no permits. You wonder why we have a shortage? Because of this right here. They just quit building altogether. Now, the peak we had in permits right now is in 2022. And let's see what that number looks like. It is 3,841. Right now, we're sitting at 2,804. Now, when you get a permit, you're still a year out before the house is built. So you're just getting your permit. It's a long time before the hammer starts swinging. So that's our story right here. So we should, right here, these March of 2022, there's people moving into those now. Then permits drop down again, down in November and December. Permits. So, we're going to have a shortage again. But I found it very interesting here in this little area where it's just absolutely deader than a doornail. There's just not a lot of building going on out there, except for this. I thought I'd point this out. This always kills me. Novus Corridor Apartment Tower opens in Tempe, shipping employer leases, nearby office. Houston-based Transwestern Development Company announced that construction of Vero, a 7-story apartment building, was wrapped up at 651 East 6th Street. The building is located within the 335-acre mixed-use innovation corridor. As a residential anchor of Norris, Vero responds to the market demand for luxury apartments that offer efficiency, affordability, and top amenities in a dynamic mixed-use neighborhood. I can't put college students and luxury apartments in the same sentence, but yet these luxury apartments are selling like crazy up by ASU. And I don't know. I shake my head. I drive around up there and I look at it and go, seriously, where are the college kids getting the money to rent these places? I mean, they got everything. And I guess mom and dad have money, or they're using their student loans and tapping into that to pay for their rent. It's been a curious thing for me for a long time. But yet another one goes up. Now, we don't have a whole lot of economic data today coming out this week. I think there is some inflation data that's coming out, and they're kind of projecting that it's going to stay at about 3%. That's the what people are anticipating. It's forecasted, so we'll see if it ends up above that number. Then all hopes for rates coming down may be dashed. So if it comes down lower, then maybe we'll see a rate cut. The next time they meet is in June. I personally don't see one coming. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in a week. I have a video coming out tonight that I hope you'll watch. I think you'll find it interesting. It's like, what do I do with all my stuff? In other words, if you've got aging parents and they've got a lot of stuff in their house, or you're a baby boomer and you're going to give everything to your kids, newsflash, they don't want your stuff. So I've kind of got some tips and tricks on how to have that conversation with your aging parents. I've got some consumer confidence coming out in 15 minutes. I'm hearing that's still pretty good. So we'll see what's going on. Anyway, I hope you watch that tonight. I kind of had fun making it. Buyer and seller sentiment over time will be interesting to see. So glad you take time to inform all of this. Absolutely. Thank you. getting rid of your stuff is interesting. One of the things that I did get out of it, because and the things that I've read, is have a conversation with your parents. Where did you get that? You're looking at some kind of frame or chair, or just instead of saying, Mom, what are you going to do with that? You're going to get rid of that? I mean, because you want to go, where did you get that? It might have a story attached to it. Oh, what's his name? He was on the Titanic and that was his watch. Oh, well, you were just going to take it and drop it off at the Goodwill. I read a story where there was this picture. They didn't think it was worth any money, and the picture wasn't, but the frame was. So when you're sitting with your parents and you're having that discussion about, Mom and Dad, I mean, I hope you're around another 20, 30 years, but what do you want to do with all your stuff? That's not the best way to approach it, because they're going to put their guard up and go, I really don't want to talk about this. But you can say, where'd you get that chair? Is there a story behind that chair? And sometimes the jewelry is worth far more than you may think it is. Now, the house usually isn't. Most people, when they inherit a house from their parents, they immediately put it up for sale, unless it's a vacation property by a river or by a lake. Then they hang on to that. But most of us don't want our parents' house. So I had fun with that and made that video to come out tonight. So I hope you get a chance to watch it. I'm also interviewing an agent that lives in Prescott, and we're going to interview him today. And that video is probably going to come out next week. I'm going to start interviewing YouTube agents that are out there that are active and asking them how their market's performing. So we're going to bounce around the state on a weekly basis. I'm trying to find agents, say, hey, what's going on in Flagstaff? I want them to share the numbers with me because they live there. Here's the funny thing. And if you're a real estate agent and you got a YouTube page, listen to me. Put your email out there and your phone number. I saw some yesterday. I went, I got to contact this gal. I couldn't find their contact information anywhere. I had to go to their website, look at the about section. I'm on the YouTube page. I'm like, really? I can't contact you? I like your video. I'd like to reach out. Don't make that mistake. I don't know. It's things that make you go, Well, I hope everybody has a great week, and let's check back later. I will not be on Friday at 3:00 live, but we are talking about pre-recording it earlier in the week. I'm going up to Payson on Wednesday. I'm going to spend a few days up there in my RV and take it easy. Blue Pool here has another comment. I came from the Appalachian Mountains as a child. Getting anything from parents was not my future. I'm pushing 76. Getting anything for free is not something I can associate with. Well, and I can count on you not to watch. But you have stuff, right? Do you have kids? So, yeah, my folks, they had a cool house up in Sequim, Washington, but it had white appliances, white Formica countertops, oak cabinets, fake oak cabinets, linoleum flooring, white carpet, white couch. It was the White House, and we sold it. I wasn't going to move up there, and so it's a challenging time when it comes to getting rid of stuff and selling property. I'm also going to be interviewing a probate attorney for those of you that may want to know how to set up your trust and everything. And he actually reached out to me this morning. And so we're going to set that up, and I hope you find it helpful as well. Again, everybody have a great week. We will talk to you soon. Take care.